Crystal Feather Myths. Read by Crystal Feather. The Boy That Became a Man by Crystal Feather. Introduction. I used to have an amazing life, great friends that always knew how to have a good time, a girlfriend that was meant for me. I was handsome, had good grades, and a life many people would want. But that all changed for me one fateful day. My name is Cooper. I know my name is not amazing, but I make it the best. I am one of those boys that was always in trouble, in school, at home, and with the law. Luckily, I haven't been to jail. I don't think you could count almost ending up at the zoo at one point. That may seem odd, I know, but I'll explain that in a second. I used to be tall, taller than the normal football player. I was handsome, not the kind that you would call handsome, but I was considered handsome. My girlfriend Jane was perfect. She made all the other people at school jealous because of her beauty. My friends even tried to find a girl like Jane, but none were like her. When I was a young boy, before I turned into a bad boy, my family and I went to church. My church's children's ministry was great and all, but it wasn't enough. When my father left us, that's what made me change. He left us with our mother and nothing left, and I became the man in charge. What else could I have done? This is a little on my past. Let me get you to the real point of this testimony. I used to be a human. Before a heavyweight man came up to me, I made the mistake of picking on him. He blurted out some mumbo-jumbo out at my friends and I. That night, things changed for me. My life made a turn for the worst, and the only way to change was to live my life differently and find my home. Chapter 1. The Wolf in Us All. Cooper, come on! I have something to tell you, one of my friends called. Walking over to the group with Jane looped around my arm. They all had evil-faced smiles on their faces. I knew that they were plotting a brilliant idea for some fun. What's up, bros? Who are we going to jump? I asked, cracking my knuckles. There's this fat guy next door to James that recently has been rude. He needs to be taught some manners. We will, how you say, poke some fun, Felix answered. And if he doesn't take any notice to it, James popped his knuckles. Oh yeah, I responded. Jane came up closer to me and whispered in my ear, I like a man that can teach somebody manners. She caressed my face and smiled. I looked at her with a lust to just kiss her forever. Don't worry, Jane. His lesson will be clear, I said. She grinned her wide, beautiful smile when school let out that afternoon. I rode with my friends to the fat guy's house to teach him a lesson. After that, Jane and I are going to have our date night for our 2-month anniversary. It is going to be Italian. Yum. What are we gonna do? I asked. What does this guy need to be taught? We need to teach him not to mess with us, and not to speak a lot of mumbo-jumbo anywhere. Period, James responded. How did you pick up Jane? You know, how did you get her to love you like she does? Did you have to knock her up? Is she pregnant? Chad asked. No, I didn't knock her up. Bro, why would you think that? I snapped. All I did was compliment her of her beauty and promised her that I would love her forever. So, I just compliment her? Don't you dare take Jane away from me. You can have her over my dead body. Calm your balls, Cooper. I'm not going after Jane. You better not be. Guys, we're here, James announced, looking up at the ratty house with a door that had a giant crack across the middle of it, bullet holes through the windows, and a garage with no door. I wonder if he is a slob like his house looks like, I teased. Everyone started laughing at my remark. Then James added, he looks a lot like a giant pig on 2 legs. The laughing continued. Soon the door opened to the Warren house, and appeared the fat man that James was talking about. He was right. That man did look like a giant pig on 2 legs. Are you the guy that was being rude to my man James here? I asked. Yes, that little punk made fun of me. What else do you guys want? The man snapped. Well, he is part of our crew, fat pig, and don't you even start. If you try to work and name all your stupid rules to me, I'll just shut my door in your face and simply walk away. Well, if you want to be difficult, we'll do this thing the hard way. Popping my knuckles, Felix, James, Chad, and I walked up to the guy. He just stood there, not even moving. You can hurt me and punch me, but I will not run nor fight back, the pig informed. Thank you for the amazing speech, fat pig. Time for your beating, I responded. We began to punch the man. We hit him, jumped him, and slapped him around. He just laid there on the ground. When we finished beating him up, he stared at us, with his nose dripping blood. Teach this boy a lesson, God, he cried out, pointing at me. He ain't gonna do nothing, dude. Your God isn't doing anything to me, I snapped. He will do it to you, Cooper. I promise you. Whatever, pig. Come on, guys. Let's go. Entering the car, all of us high-fived each other for a job well done. All of us went home afterwards. James dropped me off at home. Walking into the house, my little annoying sister was home. Koopy! Koopy! She called. Don't you call me that, you little annoying chihuahua girl, I snapped. I'm telling Mom! Go ahead, tell her. I'm not afraid of you. I'm bigger and older than you. I don't care. Taking my right hand, it raised, then met my little sister's face. She dropped to the ground and cried. Be quiet, you little crybaby, I yelled. She quieted down, and I walked away. That night I put on one of the fanciest pieces of clothing that I had in my closet. A black t-shirt, a white tie that I had for a long time, black pants, and black shoes. Leaving the house with my wallet in my pocket, grabbing a bunch of flowers and a vase my mom had, I left the house and headed to Jane's to pick her up. As I drove down the road to her house, the car began to sputter and slow down. I pounded my foot on the gas, and it didn't go any faster. Soon the car was barely moving. Pulling it over, I kept looking at the dashboard. The gas tank wasn't empty, the oil was perfect, and basically nothing was wrong. What the hell is going on with you, bogus car? I snapped. I banged my hand on the car. Jane lived about 6 miles from where I had stopped. Piece of... I screamed out loud. Then there came a giant light out of the blue. None of the streetlights were on, and this light was as bright as the sun. Through the light appeared a bearded man dressed in white. He came close to my car. Cooper, you have dishonored your whole family. I have tried to get you to come to the light, and you have never listened. Learn your lesson, Cooper Jones, by living another life until you find your heart, the man told me. What? Am I going to be changed to an animal or something? I chuckled. You don't know, but soon you'll change your heart back to me once again. Who are you then? That pig that wanted to believe in God? No, I am the one, the only true king, the King of Kings. Yeah, right. You may say that now, Cooper, but soon you'll find out I wasn't lying to you. The light disappeared. The streetlights turned on and my car started when I turned the key. Odd, but I didn't really think about it. Making it to Jane's house with time to spare, I went to the door, holding the flowers I had. Aw, thank you, Cooper! Jane thanked as she opened the door, kissing me on the lips. I embraced her, and she did it for me. Jane was dressed in a blouse and a beautiful short skirt that matched her shirt. Are you ready? Jane asked. More than ever, my sweet, I responded. We went to the Italian restaurant down the street. The food was delicious and all, but the only thing that I noticed was my sweetheart Jane. I drove her home after the date, we kissed again, and I went on home. Unlocking the front door, my mom stood there at the door, arms crossed and her eyes staring at me with death. I glared back at her, with no fear. Where were you? She snapped. I was on a date with Jane to celebrate our 2-month anniversary. And leaving your little sister to fend for herself? Mom, she's 9. That brat is old enough to take care of herself. Cooper, she's still too young. You need to watch her. No, I don't need to. This is probably why Dad left you. She froze in place. Tears streamed down her face. Get out of my house, you putz. You're not my son, Cooper Jones, if that is your name, my mom yelled. My name is Cooper, not Cooper Lee Jones. I'm Cooper the Wild, I yelled. Get out! I walked out of the house, only having the clothes on my body, no car keys, no change of clothes, and no family. Which I really didn't care. I could live on my own without my mom yelling at me and my annoying Chihuahua sister around. Walking into the woods across the street of my house, I felt free from the stupid home that I was in. That night I went to bed, to the side of a tree. It was hard, but I could find a way to live with it. As I slept that night, there came a weird feeling into my whole body, but I never really paid any attention to it. As I opened my eyes, I could see my nose. It was longer than I'd remembered from last night. On the end of my nose was a black ball, and had whiskers attached to it. Get off, I said, putting my hand to the black ball. But this wasn't my hand. It was a dog's paw. Paw print and everything. I started to panic. Running to the river nearby where I was, looking into the water, I saw a hazy reflection of a wolf, touching my face with the paws. It was me. I was the wolf in the water. How in the hell could I have turned into a wolf? I snapped. Wait. That man that appeared out of nowhere. Okay. Old man that claimed to be God. Very funny. Change me back. Nothing happened. I'm waiting for you to change me back into my beautiful self. Still, nothing happened. Staring at the fur that was now mine, everything was black, gray, and white. Then I had paws. In anger, I kicked a tree and yelled in pain. Licking my paw to make the pain go away, I was transformed into a smelly wolf overnight. Hey you! Someone yelled. Looking around, I didn't see any other humans. Just a pack of wolves glaring at me. Did you talk to me? I asked the pack of wolves. You're the only other wolf and not in my pack here, the biggest wolf of the pack told me. Now answer me, wolf. What are you doing here in my territory? This is my backyard, Fleabag, I yelled. What do you mean by that, trespasser? This has been my territory back from my father's father. My patience is short today. Leave, before I have to teach you a lesson. I'm not afraid. The Fleabag's haunches grew over his lowered head, and his teeth shined in the sunlight, sharp as a knife. I could already feel his teeth bearing into my skin. I lowered my ears and backed away. I knew you weren't worthy of an actual fight. Get out of here, stupid lone wolf. The pack trailed away from me as I walked off, the tie that I was wearing last night still around my neck, like nothing had happened to me. Looking up in the sky, staring at the clouds. I used to be handsome, and I had my own girlfriend, Jane, always by my side. I had everything. Now it's all gone. Who would play such a cruel joke on me? I yelled aloud. I kept on walking away from where I was. The forest was large, but this was my new home. I remembered reading a book in elementary school that all wolves lived in packs, and not alone. That was how they could survive. But how to get to a pack? If I was changed into a wolf, might as well live like one, the best that I could. Oh look, Ma, there's another wolf, a tiny voice mentioned. Looking over, I saw a wolf pup with a female one walking by. She didn't look at me. She picked up the tiny pup and walked away. I watched as they did so. I kept on walking until I could smell a wolf's urine. Ugh! Did this smell nasty? But it was intriguing that I could smell such a thing. What are you doing here, lone wolf? A wolf-like voice asked. I'm just looking for a pack. I have discovered that I can't be out in the world on my own, I responded. Let me take you to Alpha, lone wolf. If he likes you, stay. If not, leave. The wolf led me to his pack and to what he called the alpha's den. There sat a larger wolf, big and husky, with a female by his side and a very young pup by the female. "Who dares enter my den?" the alpha snapped. I looked over at the wolf. They brought me here. He just stared at me and noticed his head towards me. I am a lone wolf named Cooper Lee. I am looking to join a pack," I responded. "Why are you here, scrawny little wolf?" "My pack is all strong and can squish you like a flea," the alpha female yelled. "I am a great fighter and hunter." "Cooper Lee sounds familiar." "Cooper Lee Jones," the alpha interrupted. I froze and was a little confused. How did the alpha of this pack know me? He came up to my face. This wolf looked familiar to me as well. I remember a long time ago, a few weeks after my father had left us, there was a wolf at my window when I was only little. Then he disappeared for the longest time. "Aren't you that wolf that always appeared at my window when I was little? The house close by here?" "That's where I live. Well, used to." "Cooper, I've always known you always find me one day." I looked at the alpha wolf as if he has lost his mind. This wolf has waited for me here for 7 years? "You're welcome to my pack, Cooper. I'll find you a wolf that can teach you the way of a wolf." I looked back at the wolf that brought me here. He looked at the alpha like he was crazy. "Adolfo, take this kind wolf to a den. Take him to Finney's den," the alpha told the wolf that brought me here. "Yes, Alpha." Adolfo herded me out of the alpha's den and took me to this den close to the alpha's. There wasn't another wolf inside at the moment. "Where's Finney?" I asked Adolfo. Looking behind me, he wasn't there at all. When I looked back, there was a different wolf with his paw at my face. Jumping back, I stared at the wolf. "You come from a long distance. You also come from another type of world. The life." He paused. "A human! Yeah, shh! You are afraid, sent by God to live a new life, having to learn from your actions. Very intriguing, Cooper Lee Jones. How can you know all this?" "I have psychic powers, and all the other wolves shun me for this." I kept looking at this wolf's eyes. They kept looking at me, looking at one spot, and they were also kind of misty looking. "The reason my eyes are like how they are, I became blind after the Great Wolf War. I can see, all I can see are the images of death. If I wake up in the middle of the night, grab the scruff of my neck and hold me back." "Okay. Almost like a sleepwalker?" "What's a sleepwalker?" "Never mind. When do we eat?" "Silly human! You hunt for your food. The hunting group will be leaving with the alpha in a few minutes." "How do I hunt?" Billy lowered and shook his head back and forth, as if feeling shame for me. I gave him a light growl. "You have a lot to learn, Cooper. A human doesn't belong out here," Billy exclaimed. "Don't call me a human again," I snapped. "Why? That's who you really are. I'm surprised that the alpha didn't realize." "He didn't. I was the boy that he watched at the window." "Oh, I knew." "Is there anything you don't know?" "Nope, not really. You better get going. The hunt starts in a couple of minutes. The alpha is waiting for you." As I walked out of the den, I looked back at Finney, shook my head, then kept on walking away. With time to spare, I made it to the wolf hunting group to get some food. "What do you usually hunt?" I asked one of the wolves nearby. "The usual. Elk." "What else?" the wolf responded. "Oh, yeah, sorry. Brain damage." We got up on this rock that overlooked an elk herd, oblivious to us. They all looked yummy, fat and scrumptious. "Stay back," the alpha ordered. All the wolves stayed back, but those elk looked so yummy. Slowly making my way past the alpha, I ran after the yummy lugs on the ground. "Cooper Wolf!" the alpha yelled. I didn't stop. I continued chasing the elk that I had my eyes on. This one was big and meaty. I looked back at one point and saw the pack running behind me. Soon I lost the elk that I wanted. You idiot! You can't hunt an elk all on your own. Come on, Cooper, you are an idiot, not a hunter. Leave this pack. But what about you knowing me for a long time? None of that matters, Cooper. You'll bring death to my pack. With my ears and tail down, I walked away from the pack that I had had for only 5 minutes, making my way out towards my home, seeing if they were happy without me. Chapter 2. I thought you'd always be there. It was a couple days after my banishment, and I finally made it back home. It hadn't changed since I had left. Walking to the back window by the door, I found my little sister playing with her toys on the floor. The clanking of her toys hitting each other used to bother me, but now I really miss that noise. She looked up and saw me in the window. She stared into my eyes, and I stared at her. She got up off the floor and went into the kitchen. Getting off the windowsill, I walked away with tears in my eyes. I used to have that life. A home with a family that loved me. A girlfriend that I loved. Friends. And everything that I ever wanted. Clank! Looking back to the door, I saw my little sister place one of the bowls that we had by the back door. When she left, I went to the bowl and found some food inside. Without hesitating, I ate it. When I finished it, I walked away from the house towards Jane's home. Maybe she was worrying about me. As I walked, I heard my mom calling for me. "Cooper! Cooper! Where are you?" she called. "Come home! I'm so sorry for what I have... Could you..." Tears streamed down her face in thinking of me. Why had I run off? Why did I have to make fun of that man just to be cool? What was I thinking? Making my way down the road to Jane's, I found her in the front yard, smiling, knowing that she was okay. But soon out came another guy. He laid his arm around Jane. She had moved on without me. She didn't miss me at all. She found another man to coo over. "Thanks, Adam. I wish all men were all like you," Jane said. I had just died inside. My heart didn't exist in my body anymore. She moved on. Jane and I had the perfect life together, and I thought that she only loved me and didn't want anyone else. Jane is just another one of those girls that is clingy and only wanting a guy to be considered cool. That very night, I went back to my home and sought the warmth that it had while it was super cold outside, wanting to go inside and be by the fire, drinking hot apple cider that my mom always used to make. I laid in front of the back door so that I could get a little bit of the warmth through my fur. It was Sunday morning and I was up early, like the time a normal person would either go to work or to go to church. Making my way to the nearest church by the house, I followed Mom and my little sister there to the church. I knew that I couldn't enter without being noticed, but I also knew that the way to change was to accept a new life. If it really was God that appeared in front of me that Thursday night, that changed me into a wolf overnight, I needed to accept him and make a promise. But this one wasn't going to break. I wanted my life back. This promise I knew I needed to change and keep on that journey. I heard what was going on inside from the window by the side door. Soon my mom and sister got up on the stage. Putting my ear up against the window, I tried to listen to what they had to say. As of recent events, my son Cooper has disappeared, and we haven't been able to find him. It was my fault for yelling at him and kicking him out of the house. Now he's gone, and I can't get him back. I just wish that he'd come home, my mother announced with tears in her eyes. Let's pray for Cooper's safe return, and he will have the strength to come to his own home, the pastor responded, placing his hand on my mom's shoulder. Lowering my head, I teared up. The thought that I ran off and how I never wanted to return. What's going on inside? A voice from behind asked. Chapter 3. I can change. Looking back, there was a large wolf standing there. Oh, They're just praying for my return back home. Who? Me. Cooper Lee Jones. There was a silence. The wolf just stared at me, astonished. Soon he came up to me and wrapped his paws around me. My little boy. What? Cooper, don't you remember? I left you, your mother, and Penny when you were very young. My heart started to race. Are you my father? I've always been your father. I wrapped my paws around his neck and gave him a big hug. Why did you leave us, Dad? Because I was changed, just like you. I've been a wolf as long as I haven't been in your life. I was here, trying to become human again. Dad, God said that we would have to change, make a commitment to change back to human. Was that for real? He told you that too? Yes, come on, Dad, let's go inside. The only way we can do it is to go inside. A little fun? Oh, but we aren't allowed inside. The only way we can do it is to go inside. A little fun with the possibility to change back? Lovely. Pushing the door open to the church, no one was looking around the building. They were all just watching the pastor give his sermon. Wolves! One person screamed. Both my father and my eyes opened wide, as a few people came running towards us. Okay, now what's your brilliant plan now? My dad snapped. Well, I do have an idea. Run! I yelled. My father and I began running around the church, avoiding many people trying to capture us. Okay, God, I see what you're trying to teach me. My life has taken a toll on me. My father and I want to change. I'm sorry for all that I have done. Please change me back. I will follow in your will. Change me back, I yelled in my rage, leaping over one of the pews into my mom's arms. Cooper? My mom questioned. Looking down, I noticed that I had pink skin, not fur. I had a nose, feet, hands, and a belly button again. I jumped out of her arms and smiled. Looking over at my father, there he was, standing in plain sight. I looked back at my mom, who still looked at me shocked. You're alive! She yelled. Koopy! Penny cheered. I just held the both of them in my arms. I had my family back. I'm so sorry for yelling at you and kicking you out. No, I should be the one who's sorry. I've treated you guys like dirt for so long, and I didn't see what I had until I wanted it back. Can you guys ever forgive me? Of course, dear. I'll always and forever forgive you, big brother. Hey, Tandy, my father said softly. Joan? Mom asked. Hey, dear, here I am. I'm sorry for running away a long time ago. I know that I needed to change, and it starts here. Mom, I interrupted. Can you take us back? You both have always been welcome home. Giving a group hug together, I felt home once again. Soon a light appeared again. That same guy that changed me into a wolf in the first place appeared. You better keep your promise, Cooper. I'm so proud of you, he said. Thank you, God, for showing me what really is true. He nodded his head, then disappeared again. I had a life that I always wanted again, and it was the best without my friends around, encouraging me the wrong way. Epilogue. After all my adventure being out in the open world for 2 days and having a pack for only 5 minutes, I found out what life before becoming a wolf was, what I really needed, and wanted more than anything else in the world. My girlfriend Jane had moved on, as you read, but I found a better girl for my life. She was way better than Jane. Her name is Faith. She was the right girl for me. I told my friends that I accepted Christ and was not going to be bullied no more. They kicked me out, shunned me for my decision. I made new friends at school who were once afraid of me. Alex, Katie, and Hope. They were the only friends I had all through high school. But I always taught other people about my story. I wouldn't hear anything from them until weeks later that they made the same decision as I did. I am married to Faith now, and I continue to tell people about my story. I see Alex, Katie, and Hope every once in a while, and I would tell them things that I have learned. My wife and I have one kid and another one on the way. Joy is our little girl that we have. She's the most beautiful little girl I've ever known. She's her daddy's daughter. Recently, I passed by her bedroom and heard her praying by her bedside. Opening the door, she was at her bed praying for my father. Recently, he had been very, very sick, and only had 3 months to live. Dear God, you are an amazing person. You've helped my daddy to you years ago. If he didn't, I wouldn't be here. So here I pray to you tonight, asking for Grandpappy to be safe when he leaves this world. Can you and your angel friends lead him home? Joy prayed. I went to her bedside and kneeled beside her quietly. We prayed together. A prayer is powerful, more than you could ever think. I came to terms with what I needed through a prayer, and my little girl found out about that really quickly. God is the only way that you can find home. He might not tell you physically, but he speaks to your heart, and it follows. Your mind may take over, but always listen to your heart. You may not know that, but your heart could lead you home, and to what's right. Thank you, God, for all that I have. I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you for it all.